sound bad, but I wrote a romance once.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. My heart, yeah, it's in My Heart's Sunshine, I believe. I've forgotten the title now, if you can believe that. But yeah, I was completely lost at sea with that one. It took a long time to complete that. I'd never really navigated the nuances of romance writing. I mean, it's so easily dismissed, romance. People sort of smirk and at least within the writers community, and say, "Oh, knock it out in 10 minutes,"
Yeah.
can write a dozen romances in a month sort of thing. It's not so easy. And I struggled a lot trying to find particularly the pacing. I didn't want to fall into that instant love, sort of, you glance someone across the room at a party and, oh, and you just know that they're the one for you. I didn't want to fall into that trope. So that I found the pacing very difficult. It's a short story. You don't have a lot of time. You've got to move these things along, but you can have people falling desperately in love in a matter of minutes. So yeah, it was. I
Mm.
set it in the time period in the mid 1800s. So the sort of the courting was different then. There were different parameters. So it was tough to navigate through how these two people actually fell in love. And so that was difficult.
I always loved mysteries and thrillers as a reader. This is before I started writing, and I used to wonder that okay, romance is not really my genre. Yeah. Young adult was the first genre that I had started reading, and then I delved into romance. So when I was writing my first book, it was a pure mystery thriller. While editing the second draft, I happened to read Bridgerton series. And by the time I finished editing the second draft. That turned into a romance mystery,
There you go.
and and I had gave it to a friend of mine to read, and I told him that this is a mystery with a touch of sci-fi in it. Before he finished it, he messaged me, "This is not a mystery. This is a romance mystery." I was like, you should be happy it did not turn into erotica because I was reading so much of Julia Quinn and Colleen Hoover that time. It's difficult to write romance, but I feel that if the plot is something else, maybe if it's a mystery or a thriller, then you can include romance in the background, budding.
Absolutely. Yeah. I
And
was
this,
reading a review about Blood and
yeah,
Brown Sugar, and they made mention of the poignant romance, the underlying poignant romance. I'm like, what? There's no romance in Blood and Brown. But there is. There's very much, and not just one. There's actually a couple. There is
yeah,
a very strong romantic thread
yeah,
throughout the novel, and I hadn't. It wasn't that I not paid attention to the plot line while writing. I very much paid attention to it, but I didn't pay attention to it as a romance. It just sort of developed on its own. So I think you're absolutely correct when you say, if you're set in a particular genre, it's very easy to sort of blend romance into the background and have it
yeah.
as a plot, a plot device.